Good morning, team. Welcome back to this session of Trade the Data, Not the Feed. So today we're going to look at some levels, some data, but of course, we want to open up with the headlines, the news about tariff from China, and of course, obviously, the market kind of went on a straight line down. So we're going to make some comment. And welcome back, Patrick. Good to have you. I don't think we can hear you, Patrick. All right, Patrick is going to connect very soon. Welcome, guys. So, as always, if you have any questions or feedback, please let us know. While Patrick reconnects, let's look at the chart. And today we're going to talk about risk management and also how you can use the levels in conjunction with correlated assets.
Yes, correct.
Welcome, Patrick.
Yeah, welcome back.
All right. So I'll let you.
What I was saying, Fabio, when you was on the CNBC side, it was so nice. You were seeing the breaking news. Maybe you can go back. So there are the breaking news. Jamie Dimon says our recession is likely outcome from Trump's tariff tomorrow. So that's a big headline, by the way. So he happens outstanding. So if he says something, it has a word. So that's now the top news on top.
Yeah. So of course, the movement are driven by, of course, news and macroeconomic events, but at the same time, we can look at how the data can help you because the data becomes kind of like an indication of what the market is thinking. So by looking at the data, you can forecast and understand how other investors, other institutions are positioning themselves. So I think you were making some good comment here, Patrick, from the chart we were looking at below before.
Yeah. So first things first, what I was observing doing our pro sessions, that people have to understand the price action. So if you're normally trading the ES or MES, you get the price action from the NQ at the moment. So you have to be careful with this. And also, if you're trading the NQ at the moment or MNQ at the moment, you get the price action from the MBT. Not the price action, more the point value. So it's really crazy at the moment outside. How you can see and think about this, looking to the VIX. So that's really critical. We are at the moment on a really high level on the VIX. We are now approaching over 55. So now we are on 57. If you're going on the daily chart on the VIX, you get an idea in which area we are at the moment are. So I will speak about COVID. I will speak about the financial crisis. I will speak about the Japanese yen's carry trade. So there are many stuff where you have to be really careful and don't get surprised from the point value or from the volatility. If you have this on your side and you know about the VIX a little bit, what they do, then you get a really nice idea. And how MentorQ can help you. So we are here with Trade the Data and Don't Trade the Feed. So basically, we have our one-day min and we have our one-day max indicator. So the last snapshot, what we get is at 9:50. So then you get the last calculation from the one-day min and the one-day max. So, and we can really see that's, by the way, the end of the day data from our indicator. So our one-day min calculation was nearly 50, and our one-day max was nearly 55. So based on this, you can know what you can be expect based on the volatility. And you can use this for your risk management. Also, if you're looking to the one-day min and one-day max indicator on the indices, what you trade, maybe you trade NQ, maybe you trade ES, maybe you trade the Russell or gold, whatever, you can use also the value. If you're calculating one-day max minus one-day min, you get an idea about the price range, what you can get. So, and if this is more than expected as what you trade normally, you should be looking into your position size. Or maybe it's the time to switch to some different assets. So what I was doing personally, I was switching from NQ to QQQ to the ETF to become a little bit more on safe haven in the past because of the volatility. And this is something where MentorQ can help you to get an idea what you can expect on volatility, what you can expect on price moves. And also, Fabio was talking about the news. We have an online course. It's timing, location, and setup. It's in the academy where we're speaking about the right time, the right location, and the right setup. If we look into our NQ chart and we see where the big news candle was coming in the morning, we were starting from put support 0 DTE and going straight to the gamma levels, GEX4, GEX2, and GEX5. Boom. And the good thing is, we're telling you already where you have your supply and demand areas because we have the roadmap there. You have the ability to create and supply and demand areas based on data. So you could not be surprised from the price moves because you know exactly where you have, based on your data, the supply and demand areas. And that's so beautiful how it works, Fabio.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you want to have a clearer picture, here you can see, the areas that are drawn using gamma levels and option data, and obviously you can see how the levels play out. So we saw a lot of congestion in this area, and if we go back to the levels, we can see that we have a lot of gamma levels in this cluster here. We have also have a lot of gamma levels right here. Very important level, JAX1, the biggest JAX level that we have, our put support, our 1-day max. And then, of course, we have our 1-day minimum here. So we saw this big move from 1-day minimum all the way here. And now, of course, we're now going back to this zone. So understanding, of course, the news impact that we see here on the price action. And then, of course, looking at the VIX, because the VIX is really what's really going to drive this. And I think, Patrick, by looking at the VIX, we can also go into the dashboard and see some other interesting data that you guys can use to understand the importance of the VIX and the importance on the asset that you might trade. So, all right. So if we go into the dashboard, of course, here we have the VIX, we have our options data. So as you can see, we have this big core resistance of 55. So this is really very, very strong, strong level. But then the data can tell us a lot of different things. So first, let's look at the matrix. And we can see that next week, and we're going to talk about this, we're going to cover this. We're going to have Ryan next week. We're also going to have a macro webinar, 2 macro webinars actually next week. So stay tuned there where we're going to talk about VIX expiration, OPEX, the impact of tariffs on US and China. So we're going to have a lot of different things, really nice topic next week. But what we can see here is 36% of gamma expires on the 16th of April, right? So hopefully when this moves is done, so the day after, this could relieve a lot of the volatility that we see today. So hopefully we can have some interesting move related to the fact that there's a lot of gamma expiring. So looking at VIX expiration, looking at OPEX, very, very important. Another interesting thing is that now, if we look at the skew, there's a lot of put bias on the VIX, meaning that the implied volatility of out-of-the-money puts is actually more expensive than the out-of-the-money calls, right? So maybe the market is looking at maybe like a calm down in volatility. We can also look at our open interest charts. So we see a lot of like put open interest around these areas here. And of course, with the skew, we can see that the implied volatility of puts is actually very, very high right now. So I think a lot of investors are looking at volatility trades. They're looking at options. They're looking at potentially like some adjustment in the market. So it's very important to see that. The other step is, okay, if you are playing on the equity side and if you are like looking to position yourself, let's look at the swing model, right? So first we look at the next 5 days, right? For the next week, the swing model is providing us with a lower band, which is bullish for the VIX, bearish for the market, where the price should stay, if the model is successful, above 45.69, right? So this is the level that the model forecasts the price of VIX to be in 5 days from now, which is a very, very high number, of course, right? If we look at the next month, this is also very interesting, because first we see that the lower band is at 39.05, and our risk trigger is all the way to 65, right? So there's a lot of like big movement here that the model is looking for. If we look at the success rate over the past 92 days, the model was successful on 87% of the cases, right? So if we look at the history here, the price closed above this lower band on 87% of the cases over 92 days. So it's about 4 months of data. So looking at these levels here, very, very important. And then, of course, if we go then back to our indices, we can see obviously the opposite picture, right? So we can see that there is a lot of negative positioning. We don't have a gamma flip, so we don't have a change in gamma until 5,850, right? So this 45, sorry. So this is where the positive positioning restarts again. All the way here is a lot of negative gamma, right? And of course, if we look at the matrix, we can see also that next week we have 18% of gamma expiring, so we're going to have VIX expiration, we're going to have OPEX, so very, very important. Stay tuned for next week, because it's going to be very key for the market. And then, of course, one thing that I always want to show as well is look at the Q score. We develop it to help you understand the asset that you're trading based on 4 different factors. And if we look at our option and momentum, and we can look at the chart here, take a look how the change from a 5 option score to a 0 kind of like predicted this kind of like movement here. So the option data is really telling you what investors are thinking and how the market is reacting. From a momentum standpoint, again, same picture. We went from positive momentum to negative momentum in a matter of a few days. And as a result, the price kind of like went all the way down. So now we are still at negative momentum. We want to monitor this shifting. And of course, this score moving from very negative to potentially positive to potentially see a shift in the market. We also have our seasonality. So if you look here, also the seasonality score kind of like had a sharp drop. And of course, this kind of like was the beginning of this drop. And then, of course, we had a positive seasonality. We saw like a small rally for a couple of days, and then now we're back into like 0 seasonality. So the seasonality is not really telling us much right now, but we need to wait and see how the data evolves. Let us know if you have any questions. And don't know, Patrick, if you have anything to add there. Let me add you back. Let me know, Patrick, if you have anything to add. If not, I can start looking at the questions.
I think everything is good.
All right. So we have some questions about gold, so we can look at our gold levels as well. So gold, of course, is at all-time high. Very important to monitor. These are the levels for today for gold. We're looking at the GC contract.
I think everything is good, Fabio. So we're giving a really good overview about the market. So, and one thing, what is really important is if you're trading the NQ, look also to the Magnificent Seven. Yesterday, we were seeing something really clear. NVIDIA was not able to break out. And NVIDIA came down first, and then the Nasdaq came down. Boom. If you are trying a breakout trade and you think like, oh man, this looks like really great, I want to try it, then take a look into the stocks. Look into the Magnificent Seven. By the way, to NVIDIA. Everyone is now looking to NVIDIA 100% sure, because they won't buy the dip. So, and if they don't do this, then there's no reason maybe to take the breakout trade. Wait until you get the confirmation from the stocks.
Yeah, and the other thing, Patrick, that I think is interesting, if we go back to NVIDIA, we can look at NVIDIA as well, but let's take Tesla, for example, because of course there's NVIDIA and Tesla are kind of like the names that are being actively traded by investors. So besides the gamma levels, we now have our intraday updates, right? So let's go and see. I was looking at this today. So let's go and see at the data from yesterday. So within the intraday updates, we show you the change in gamma based on 14 different snapshots. So we calculate the data about every 30 minutes from the opening to 3:30, which is kind of like the last half an hour of the power session. So if we look at Tesla, what was interesting is, let's look at our JAX difference versus the end of the day. So we want to monitor the data from the previous day at the open. So we have our first snapshot at 9:35. So there's a lot of positive gamma at 9:35. And as you can see, the price kind of like opens higher. We had, I think it was plus 4 or 5% yesterday. And then let's look and replay the day so we can go further. This is our 10 a.m. snapshot, 10:30, 11. So all this kind of like was showing that there was a lot of positive gamma here. So we went from 241 to 249, so 10 points move there. But then let's see what happens around, I think was 1 o'clock. Then suddenly the picture changes, right? So now we start seeing negative gamma piling up all the way through the close, right? So here you see all this negative gamma. And as a result, if we look back here, 1 p.m. was around here, right? So this was maybe a 30 points move from 230, 20 points move from 235 all the way to 220. So 15 points moved right there. And of course, you could have used kind of like the JAX data to understand, okay, what's going on in the option market and how could that potentially drive the price of Tesla. And of course, Tesla closed down 5%, I think it was yesterday, 4.9. So this is kind of like how you can also use the data, even if you are not trading option at all, but understanding how the option can impact the price of a stock or an asset.
100%, yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the key things. So looking in, if you're trading in Q, if you're trading ES as a futures trader, if you be in a challenge with a problem, what else? If you're trading real money, take care of your margin, take care of your risk, and take a closer look to the VIX and to the stock market. If you're not doing this at the moment, so then do it now.
Yeah. Let's see if we have any questions.
There's a question about MBT. Maybe we're looking into the MBT. Fabio, let's look into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here you can see the same picture. So put support 0 DTE. Understand put support, understand call resistance. So do you know what it is, what it means? If not, take a look into the academy. We was taking so much time to explain everything. You have this as letter, or you can watch videos. You can do it whatever you want, but you have to understand the levels. So why are we moving from there? So first think about, was there some news outside? Yes, there is some news outside. And why we coming back from this level? So why is this important? News plus gamma levels. If you understand this, then you're doing a really great job and you understand much more about the market.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And also, you have the 1 day max and you have the 1 day min. Sorry, Fabio, for interrupting you. You have the 1 day max, you have the 1 day min. Calculate this. It's like calculate the value from the 1-day max minus the value from the 1-day min. Then you get an idea how big could be your price range today. And then based on the volatility, what we have, so we can speak about implied volatility. You will find this also on your mentor Q dashboard, and then do the job and make your position based on the volatility and based on the range, and not go in because you see a huge candle, because this huge candle can immediately pull back or pull down, whatever you're going, and you're taking huge losses because of the volatility.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Patrick, one of the questions that I have for you, like over the past few weeks, your kind of not trading style has changed, but your looking at risk, your perspective of risk compared to before has changed, right? So obviously, as a future trader, volatility is your currency, but at the same time, it can really hurt you, especially in moments like today. So can you like maybe explain how you change the way you trade and maybe the asset that you're trading to mitigate those times and basically
Yeah.
be, of course, successful with the volatility, but at the same time managing risk, because I think that's the most important part right now.
Yeah. So think about the standpoint you trade your own money, So everything would be hurt you. The volatility, if you be wrong, will hurt you because it's real money. It's not paper trading. It's not a challenge. It's real money. What could hurt you? So based on this, so let me go a little bit back. Everything was start with in the pro room that some of our traders were saying, "Hey, I was taking my biggest losses. So since ever, because I'm doing stupid mistakes. And by the way, he's a really good trader and he's now back. But he was doing stupid mistakes. And he was really open with this because he was looking for feedback. And he was posting this in the pro community and all this stuff. So I'm understanding we're working as a team and we learn from each other. I was start to thinking when I was reading this, because I know him also personally, we are good friends together, and he was taking his biggest losses. I was thinking like, holy shit, what's going on? So then I was really thinking about, okay, it could be also hurt me. This could be also me. What can I learn from the mistakes what he was doing? And what I was doing was immediately understand things becoming wilder and wilder. So this was, I think, 2 weeks before, not now, it was 2 weeks before. Everything becomes wilder and wilder and wilder. I was thinking about, okay, let's switch to ETFs because I have not the big price swings. If I be wrong, it's maybe one US dollar or two US dollar move. Yeah, it's not like the crazy moves on the futures. And this was really one of the key that I was thinking about risk management, where I can be reduce uh, my buying power, where I can reduce my leverage, where I can reduce my margin, but can also trade my trading style. Because I know me, I'm a trader who goes mostly all in, but controlled all in with my full buying power. But if I would be going all in with my same trading style, with my old habits on the futures, I can make huge money, but on the other hand, I can also making huge losses. To protect me, so I was thinking like go to the ETFs, because that's, if I'm going all in on the ETFs, if I be completely wrong, what could I lose? 2,000, 3,000 US dollars. But what would this on the futures? It would be 30,000. Also, if I be win, I can make maybe only 3,000, but I would not making too much losses. And at the end, if I'm trading maybe 1 month, 2 months with good risk management, maybe not with so much wins, only with small wins, but at the end of the tariff crisis, I came out as a winner, not as a loser. So that's the big deal. And I can switch immediately again to futures if I would. But at the moment, it looks like more going to the ETFs. That's the same safe haven for me personally. I can trade QQQ, I can trade SPY, I can trade IWM, I can trade DIA, I can trade GLD, I can trade everything with ETFs. Everything is there, but with less risk. So that's one of my key things, what I was learning.
Yeah. And I think, Patrick, this is a very good example on why the VIX is very important. So we see obviously the put support, 1 day minimum, hold it just before we started, and then of course we were approaching this level again, and now we saw this bounce back. And if we look at the VIX, it coincides with the break down of the core resistance, right? So we have a strong 3 candles right here, breakdown of the core resistance, and on the other side we see this like big pop of, I think it was 40 points, 50 points right there.
Yeah, and see the correlation. So we was popping on the where's this? It's a ES. Yeah, we was popping on the 1 day min, and on the VIX, it was popping down on the 1 day max and core resistance. So it's correlated together. So it's so important. So I understand this. So we have the 1 day min, also 1 day max, and most likely they stay in the range. Most likely. So, and it's a good sign for you that this works like very great, very powerful.
Yeah.
And we are live, so we show you this live.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, so my new A plus setup is always the call resistance from the VIX. So the last few days, the call resistance from the VIX was my money printing machine. Only as insider.
Yeah, and then if we look at the NQ as well, you have our put support, break of the put support, and this was again 200 points just in a few minutes. So really interesting. All right, let's see if we get any questions. Also, guys, if you guys join us for free, we're gonna send over gamma levels in our newsletter in about an hour or so. So if you are not part of our mailing list, just join us and you'll receive these levels via email for the next few days. We want to really make sure that you guys take advantage, and we can help you guys also be prepared for the week because this week and next week are going to be very, very key for the market.
Yeah, and one thing, so we have all the tariffs news outside, but don't forget we have also economic news. So don't lose the focus on economic news. So today we have the 10-year auction, we have FOMC minutes, tomorrow we have CPI. So don't lose the focus on the economic data because they are always relevant and come on top of everything. So don't lose the focus there.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, I think, let's see, I think we have a question for you, Patrick, on how do you look at the core resistance and how do you prepare for trading using the core resistance on the VIX?
Yeah, so first things first, so core resistance and put support only, as easy speaking, are strong areas where it's possible we see some price reaction. So make it only really simple term. And what happens where we are most of the time at the moment, because the VIX goes up, so likely we see more call resistance than put support, correct? And every time when we're hitting the call resistance on the VIX and we are going a little bit above the call resistance, we fall down again from the call resistance. And what is this meaning? If you fall down from the call resistance, you go up based on volatility on the market. So you were seeing this also now on your S&P chart or on the NQ chart. Look at this. So the VIX came down. What is doing the EX? What is doing the NASDAQ? Boom, we're going to the upside. So basically, I'm looking at we touching the call resistance on the VIX because I know that's a huge area where we're getting some reaction. Most likely we're going first through the core resistance, but then we're making a curve to the downside again. And if we're getting the curve, and we're going through call resistance. We're getting also the move on the NQ and on the ES. And this is something where I'm looking all single day, and hopefully we're touching the call resistance so that I can add again and come back in the market and taking the long trade. That's at the moment my A+ setup. We was doing this very, very often in the pro room. It's at the moment it's like crazy. It's working like, but because at the moment this is really my A+ setup. Normally I would say I wall to 1 day min, 1 day max, but at the moment I have to say call resistance VIX is my A+ setup. It's like crazy.
Yeah, and always volatility is also mean reverting. So when we break those big level, and of course, if you go back to our chart here, and we go back to our VIX chart, let's switch to our end of day levels. We can see that basically this 55 area, it's a massive reaction zone. We have about almost 100 million in jacks at this level. So of course, this becomes an inflection point, but again, is a strong magnet. So as we can see here, it kind of was respected, and this 55 level is going to be a very big level for the day.
Yeah, and Cheto, wow, so simple. I love it. Yeah, at the end, why you make it complicated? So, but you will figure out some crazy stuff if you have the levels on your chart and you're only observing. So sometimes maybe not trading, only looking into the chart and see like, oh man, every time when we're hitting this level, I will see some reaction. And this is something what I'm doing. If you want talking with me about the VIX and how everything is set up on the VIX, I have no clue. So I'm not the one who can talk about the VIX. There we have Doc. He can talk about this very good. He's a specialist. But if you want from me and really good trading points where you can have maybe good options to get in and get out of the market, that's my simple approach how I would using this. So I'm not an analyst, I'm a trader, and I make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
And look at this, look at this, look at this now. You see, we came down from the call resistance. What you see, the reaction on the VIX, boom, we came down. What is the ES doing? Boom, we came up. What is the NQ doing? Boom, we going up. That's the best trading ideas, chaps. That's why we're looking for, where we be patient. Take it and then boom. But that's only my setup. It's maybe not you. This is how I'm using this. But yeah, everyone should be using his own stuff. So there's absolutely no financial advice. It's only how I'm using this. But figure it out on your side. This is how I'm using this. This is how I'm teaching this in the pro group. And again, I teach this every single day, how to read the VIX and how you can approach this for your trading. If you understand the VIX, man, it's so simple. And you see it now live, so it's, I cannot tell you more. So as you can see it in real time. So
yeah, nice. Yeah, it's great.
And very often I write Fabio a message. I say, hey, Fabio, look at this VIX call resistance. I will take a trade. And at the end, 5 minutes later, boom, I get out with profit. So that's it.
Yeah.
But it works now. It works only now because why this works? Because look at the VIX, we are on 55. So will this be working when the VIX is back on 20 or something like this? Maybe not. Then all what I'm saying is bullshit. It will be not working anymore. Then I'm looking for other stuff where I can be making a simple approach. But for now, this is my A+ set.
Yeah.
So yeah, the question is, Patrick, do you live trade every day? Fabio, can we tell this now what we have to plan?
Yes, sure, we can. So
all right. So yeah, we have a new timetable for live trading. So basically, on every Monday, we're having a weekly live trading with the premiums. So it's from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. For the pros, we're trading on Tuesday from 9:30 to 11:30, on Wednesday from 9:30 to 11:30. On Tuesday, we're trading from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the pro, and on Friday from 9:30 to 10:30 also in the pro. Also, you have a one mentorship session in the pro every Monday. So it's called the weekly roundtable. It's from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, Patrick, the new thing, and we're gonna send a message this weekend. We're gonna do one live trading for premium members as well. So if you want to join that one, just sign up for premium, and of course, for all our premium members, you'll be able to access that as of Monday. We're gonna send some communication out, and of course, if you want to have more of those, then of course you can look at the pro membership, and of course we'll be spending a lot of time. So I think the key here is the time that you will be able to spend with people like Patrick, with our group. Obviously, within the pro, we have our open mic, so people can interact with each other. This is very important. And it's it's just a way of like growing together as traders, and of course using the data to be able to support you guys.
Yeah, it's Eastern time. Yeah. And Fabio, can you go again, please, on the Nasdaq and Fusion, please? I would, and then I think 5 minutes is also good. So I want also that you guys learn something, because we were speaking about the supply and demand, where we are stopping now. So we came now again to the supply and demand on it. Why you get this? Because you have your trading roadmap. And also, most of the time, we have in big gamma levels as we have GEX4, GEX2, GEX5. They're acting as liquidity magnet. So we follow the liquidity. So this is something where you have also to be really understand. So map out the areas on your chart. That's not mathematically, but map out the areas where you have the most gamma levels. And you will see that this will be very likely acting as magnet, only as it's huge, small stuff where you can learn.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the question for Max. Yeah, of course, Max. If you are a premium member, you can join our live on Monday. If you want to join the other one, you can look at our pro members. And if you are premium, just we can have one live session per week available for you guys as well.
But it's only the power hour, yeah. So if we come live together with the premiums on Monday, so if I was banking already my profits, most likely what I will doing, I will not trade, but I will giving you the commentary what I'm seeing. So of course, it's like as a professional trader, when you're making your most money, mostly in the morning session. And the morning sessions are the pro. But we're doing also something for the premium. So we have the power hour session where we can speaking about live price action, what we're seeing now, how we can help you to understand this a little bit more. That's the main goal. Is this live trading in front of you? Could be. It's depend on how the day was, because I'm a trader, I'm a pro trader, and if I was making my profit already, I have no reason to go into the market anymore. So, to be clear.
Of course, it's always manage risk, important. Right. Let us know, guys, if you have any questions, and I don't know if there's anything to add. I think this was very good examples. We're gonna send out our free gamma levels today. So for those who are not part of our mailing list, please join us. It's free. You can also access our academy. There's a lot of videos there that you can look at, and you'll be receiving our email today as well at around 10 a.m. So stay tuned for that one.
But for now, champs, in 15 minutes, we start the live trading in the pro. I have to say goodbye. So because I have to go a little walk before I'm going back into the market. So thank you for joining us. So I will highly appreciate if I see you in the pro room, if I can mentor you, if I can help you in your trading, can make it as simple as possible to understand how you can read the market. But also as a premium member, we will see us every Monday in the future. So stay tuned and thank you for joining.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, please send us an email, info@mentorkey.com, and we'll be able to answer there. Thank you for that. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.